Hello everybody and welcome to the Vintage Read Show. And this is definitely a live, not a premiere. You can always tell because when you click the link, if it's a premiere, it says premiere down in the bottom right hand corner. So this is a live. I only do some premieres on pre-recorded videos sometimes because I think it's really fun for you all to get to chat about the topic that I'm actually bringing up. Then you don't have to just listen to me mouthing off all the time. You can mouth off yourselves, which is always a good thing, I think. Well, we're going to kick off this live with some great news, and it's just feel-good news. As you know, the Lionesses won. That isn't the news. I know you already know that, and we've covered that in the last live. But what I just love was the reception when they actually were heading towards Buckingham Palace. So I'll just bring up a few slides and things because it just feeds your soul, doesn't it? When a nation comes together and in pride in something, it really does just fill your heart. I think it's a wonderful, wonderful thing. So there, of course, was Prince William and the lovely Princess Charlotte over there for the match, and you would have seen that, but I just wanted to bring it up because I love them both. Also, winners, pride of the Lionesses, and they won 3-1 over Spain, and a grueling 120 minutes of play, so a well-deserved victory. Just going to sneak this one in. I know you've already seen it, but woohoo, Princess Charlotte. I just love that photo. I think it's just so natural and down to earth and really what she thinks. But look at the poor guy in front of her. I think he actually barracked for Spain. I have that feeling. He genuinely looked in pain. The poor fella. I didn't even notice that when I first put up the photograph, but it provides a good contrast, I feel. But this is what I'm talking about. The Lionesses heading to Buckingham Palace on double-decker buses. And, oh gosh, it was moving just to see that turnout. And evidently the captain cried all the way. Lee Williamson cried all the way to Buckingham Palace because she was just so overwhelmed with her country's response to their, delightful victory. And what a thrill for them. I mean, they will never forget that for the rest of their lives. They will never forget that turnout and that support. And there's nothing more exciting, is there, than being in a crowd celebrating something that makes you all proud and brings you all together as a nation. I don't think there's enough of it, really. And that's one of the functions that the royal family, of course, in the UK serves, because people come together for those wonderful occasions, the flyovers, trooping the colour, all those wonderful celebrations, and it brings people together with a point of pride. And of course, winning sporting teams bring people together with a point of pride. And I think the poor old UK, I feel so sorry for it sometimes. And I feel sorry for my own country. I feel sorry for the USA because often, you're almost made to feel ashamed if you feel a point of pride in your country or you want to celebrate your traditions or your culture. You're made to feel like you're an extremist, which is so sad because that's not how we grew up. And I mean, of course, you've got to be inclusive as much and bring people into your celebration. And that's what we used to do. But now it seems like celebration is even sort of a bit of a dirty word. So this was lovely, this sort of unabated joy. Anyway, I will stop raving on about it, but I just loved it. Hello to everybody that is here, all my friends. Sir Squirrelot makes a very great point here. No one does the pageantry like the UK. Congratulations, Lady Lions. Indeed. And I believe I read, I don't know if this is true, that Princess Beatrice was actually in the crowd, and it was from a reputable broadsheet. So evidently she was there cheering on the Lionesses as they headed towards Buckingham Palace. But I'm wondering if that is true. Wouldn't security be an issue? Not sure, but maybe she wanted them to be a part of that feeling, that crowd feeling. I mean, after all, Princess Margaret and the then Princess Elizabeth on V-Day actually went off into the crowds, didn't they, and enjoyed all that, all the conga lines to the palace and all the celebrations, Victory in Europe Day. So who knows? Hopefully they could have been a part of that feel-good vibe. Now, I wanted to talk to, not to bring you down straight away, but I've got some really funny comments to share with you. I put up an AI photo, which is a little bit naughty of me, about Prince Harry sharing his diary. That'll be sort of at the end of the show because I've got some hilarious comments that were voted up by the community. So I want to share those in your say. Also, I did want to say a semi-serious point about that. One thing that I find with this sharing of the diary thing, and as I said in the thumbnail, it seems to be very much setups and traps. Now, I know you're all canny enough to see that. I'm sure the palace is very much canny enough to see all that coming. I mean, let's face it, no one's quite as dumb as Harry, but it is obviously Meghan Markle's MO. Now, I'm not just saying that to pick on Meghan Markle for no reason. It follows the same pattern. When you look at the fact that when she wrote that letter to her father, which she was clearly planning ahead for it to become fodder in People magazine, she was clearly planning ahead that it was a way to permanently dispatch her father, to dump him for good, but still preserve her own image and reputation by the way she did it, by the way she couched it. And she was always planning, obviously, to just share snippets of that letter that made her, seem wonderful. And then, of course, Thomas Markle Sr. decided to share the real meaning of the letter, which was basically dumping him. Also, when she was, very depressed and thinking about unaliving herself, I have to say it that way because we're on YouTube, I can't use the S word. She went off to HR, again creating a paper trail. And Lady C very much spells this out in her book, and Tom Bower points to it, but not as much as Lady C does. So this paper trail, this whole thing of covering herself at a later date. And so very definitely her MO. Also, the changing of Archie's birth certificate was also sort of part of that. It was made to look like there was something nefarious afoot, that somehow the palace was in on something, that they knew something. So, pre-preparation, this Machiavellian level of ability to plant little landmines ahead. And this is obviously intended to be the same thing with the so-called sharing of Harry's diary, because they're trying to box the royal family into a corner. It won't work, but they're trying to lay the groundwork, the foundation for the spiel that we tried to work with them. We tried, but they wouldn't even meet us halfway. They're also trying to box them into the corner when it comes to the Invictus Games in Birmingham, making a big hairy deal out of sharing the diary, 2 years out from the Invictus Games, so they can say we bent over backwards to make sure our schedules wouldn't conflict and to make sure that they could attend and pay tribute to the veterans. So, you can all see this setups and traps. As we know, the royal family will not fall for it. We certainly won't fall for it, but you can't blame them for trying. People that seem to love falling for all this rubbish is, of course, the mainstream media. Let's have a look at a few things, a few headlines. This is just a sample. There was over probably, 7 main headlines. Of course, you can always count on People magazine. Prince Harry's quiet peace offering to royal family revealed among hopes for reconciliation. Now, the main points. Now, this is the spiel, because People always gives us the main points of what the Sussex camp want us all to know. Now, this is the official version of the story. Prince Harry has reportedly offered to share his official schedule with the royal family in an apparent olive branch move. You'd think they'd know enough not to say olive branch anymore, wouldn't you? I mean, it's just so instantly off-putting. The move would allow for transparency regarding the Duke of Sussex's public outings and avoid conflicts between his events, one wonders what events, and the royal family's outings. Final point, if you can suffer it, it could also mean Prince Harry and King Charles could work out a time to meet in person. Manipulation 101. They just had to get that. When the diary story first came out, it was all about official work engagements. It was all about the Invictus Games. Now, 24 hours out, they're starting to put in a little bit of extra pressure about personal meetings with the king. We have Courier Mail, which is a Queensland newspaper where I live. Prince Harry's surprise new peace offering to King Charles. How they could couch this as a peace offering, I just find absolutely gobsmacking, don't you? I'll get your thoughts on it in a sec. Also, the Telegraph has just outdone themselves with this pathetic take. Charles and William, sorry, William, should accept Harry's olive branch. Now, get this, Bill. The King and Prince should embrace the Duke of Sussex peace offering before it's too late. Oh my God, no. That is what family, royal or not, is all about. Well, I would dispute that, and I'm sure a lot of you would dispute that. I actually got a little bit incensed. Prediction: Harry's performative reconciliation antics are so he can claim he really tried. The sharing of his diary, the Sussex are building a narrative to justify the next big betrayal. He's cornered. This is going to be feral. And I truly believe that. I don't know where the next big betrayal is going to come from. It's either going to be in video form, it's going to be in memoir form, but it's going to be a form. Whether it is Meghan Markle doing a post-divorce memoir, whether it's Harry doing Spare 2, or whether it's some trashy sort of doco program where they're going to stick the boot into the royal family. Yet again, it's going to happen. And I can just see them laying the groundwork because I've seen them lay the groundwork before. And you've seen them lay the groundwork before. They're ready to have a go. It's going to be big, people. I can just feel it. So, that will be a little something to laugh at. Something to laugh at altogether. This is from Flower Lady. They are broken. What money for Pa? Well, of course, never-endingly they want money from Pa, Flower Lady. They've wanted money from Pa pretty much since they were courting, I believe. So that will never change. Ali Anderson, woohoo, g'day from across the ditch. Congratulations, Lionesses. Indeed, definitely feel good. Just love it, Ali. It's just wonderful. This is an interesting comment from Susan Robbins. The British press have already written their story, but the royal family refuse to play their part. That's a very good point too, Susan. I think that's very good. I think, though, the next betrayal, I think we need just the removal of the HRHs. The late Queen Elizabeth II did remove, as you know, Princess Diana's HRHs. She was prepared to suffer the slings and arrows that came with that. Also, of course, Sarah Ferguson's HRH was removed. Now, they essentially became non-working royals when they were divorced. Harry and Meghan have become non-working royals. Plus, they broke the Queen Elizabeth II's, agreement that they would never use their HRHs in relation to their commercial activities. They clearly have repeatedly. They've used the HRH. I've seen it up on big screens when they've been accepting awards. And that is really something that they should ensure doesn't happen if they're going to go and accept an award, but they obviously have no problem with it. So they've broken the terms of the agreement. It should be permanently removed. HRHs do not require any form of an act of parliament. They do not require any form of legislation. It is at the discretion of the king, so they can go. And I hope they will go very soon before the next massive betrayal actually hits. Because I believe, like I said, I think it's going to hit. Okay, I'm going to go on to a happy story. And this was a baby. We all love a baby. Billionaire aristocrat Hugh Grosner and his wife Olivia confirmed they've welcomed a baby girl. And I love her name, Cosima Florence Grosner. Now, if we were sort of saying that Hugh Grosner's properties were on a real-life monopoly board, he would win because he owns half of Mayfair. So this guy is seriously, seriously rich. He seems rather down to earth, though, doesn't he? I mean, he seems to handle his billions and billions and billions very well. And he's obviously married a very down to earth and very beautiful woman in Olivia. So congratulations to them. It's lovely they've had a little baby girl. It's just wonderful. Now, this is them actually next to William and George at an Aston Villa match back in April. And so obviously great mates. Now they are actually Hugh is godfather to Prince George. So that's wonderful. It makes you wonder whether Prince William is going to be godfather to their new little baby girl. That would be, lovely. And also Hugh's mother is also godfather to Prince William. So the families are very closely connected, and that's a wonderful thing that they have good friendships like that. Of course, the broadsheets even couldn't help resisting and implying that Prince Harry would be offered to be godfather to Cosima. I doubt it. He wasn't even invited to the wedding, so I don't think he's going to play any part in that little girl's life. I'm sure that, her parents are far too sensible for that. Who would want to bring that level of trouble into their lives? Now, talking about level of trouble, Jessica Mulroney has split from her husband. That was reported by Page 6, but it's also been backed up by many reputable broadsheets and things. And so that's sad. I mean, we can't celebrate the divorce of anyone with glee, but it sort of doesn't surprise me because her life has been so troubled. She's getting back on track. Many don't like her or don't like the idea of Jessica Mulroney because they figure that she's a mean girl that helped Meghan Markle when she was definitely in her mean girl phase. Has she ever got out of the mean girl phase, though? I don't think she has. So, yes, people don't have a great deal of affection for her, but they have a lot of interest in her because they think that if she ever wrote a memoir, it would be off the charts, juicy, and I would be there. I could not resist reading that. I actually do feel a little bit sorry for Jessica Mulroney, and I'll tell you why. When all the trouble happened back in 2020 with Sasha Exeter on Instagram, again, on my thumbnail, setups and traps. I really feel, in my opinion, I'm not saying this is fact, make up your own mind, it's purely personal opinion, that seemed like definitely a setup and a trap. Because Sasha was the one that actually reached out to Jessica Mulroney first. She was the one that contacted her first. And she contacted her in a way that I felt it was very hard to answer her in a way that you wouldn't get into trouble. It was very hard to answer her in a way that would make you neutrally okay, in a good place. It just was always going to backfire. And if you ignored, then that would backfire. I think Jessica Mulroney was a little too spontaneous there, a little bit too sure of herself. I think she should have got legal advice immediately before she replied. But it was definitely designed to inflame. It was definitely designed to do damage, I feel, and it definitely did. This, of course, was back in the glory days of Black Lives Matter, before all the trouble happened with finances and sort of people besmirching their reputation, things like that. This was in the height in 2020. So she really suffered. She lost all her TV shows. She lost her whole career, basically. And when I read that Meghan Markle thought that Jessica was somehow playing on her association with her, somehow playing on the fact of her fame that she got from being Meghan's matron of honour and the fact that her sons were page boys, things like that, I thought, Then when I heard that she was getting a massive show, her wedding show, and particularly she was starting to get quite a bit of traction on USA TV in regards to wedding commentary, fashion commentary, things like that, I immediately thought, you know what? There was someone that had just moved to the USA and was looking for that same level of fame. And look now, they haven't achieved it. Now, Jessica Mulroney is on her way back, and she has a new divorce under her belt. So who knows what is going to happen? I think what probably stopped her from ever writing a memoir or ever telling the truth was probably her connection with the very politically ambitious Mulroney family. I think that would have definitely tied her hands. So now we may be able to get a little bit excited and see whether Jessica has become quite unfettered, whether she could share her opinions. But I won't hold my breath because, I mean, the girl knows what side of, her bread is buttered on. She's not going to blow all her sort of high society friendships just by writing a book that everyone may find a tad tacky. I don't know whether she would tell the truth about the Mulroneys. I'm just going to go to your comments now. This is a good comment, Deborah. Just leave Harry to Meghan Markle. She'll put him in his place. Yeah, ain't that the truth, Deborah? And I hate to, well, no, I don't hate to say it. I'm quite glad, actually, that I think he's experiencing that already. Although I think he is still of some use at the moment, particularly after she's now, lost the Netflix deal. I think she needs something. She needs some form of connection. I'm not going to read that out, Linda, because I haven't actually seen it. But evidently there's a very severe weather warning for Hawaii, according to Linda. But I won't read it out just in case it's misinformation. All right, so we are going to go on to more feel-good news. Look at this. It's been confirmed. Pamela Anderson and Liam Neeson are dating. They're actually dating. It's not just promo for the movie. It's been confirmed that they're having a romance, and I couldn't be happier for them. I just think they're just such a great couple. Love a bit of romance, love all that. And I think, Liam Neeson has obviously been quite lonely after the death of his wife. I mean, he said that his dating days were over, and he hasn't had any high profile relationship. So obviously a really sincere guy, someone that was obviously genuinely in love and lost the love of his life. And now he's met up with a lovely woman, Pamela Anderson. I just think they'll be perfect together. Oh, I can't wait. I don't think they necessarily have to get married. They could just move in together. But yeah, lovely news. All righty, I'm going to get on to the top comments, yours say. Now, this was in regards, just for a light-hearted moment, in my rather cheeky AI photograph that I shared. And it was, Harry likes to use a quill, obviously isn't a real quill, for his diary entries. It makes him feel more royal. And I was just, oh gosh, I giggled when I saw your responses. So I'm going to share some of those with you now. Just hilarious. Here we go. Lynn Hancock's. I'd have thought he'd seen enough of feathers after Anne's contribution to visuals at the coronation, that did make me laugh, Lynn. That was funny. Yes, it would have been better if I had have asked the AI photograph to actually make sure that the pen had a red feather, a red plume, wouldn't it? That would have been much funnier. I didn't even think of that. See, you're much funnier than me. Core Values 100. His printing is coming along nicely. Soon he'll move up to cursive. Ouch. Ooh, Core Values. Carolina Blue Moon. One little angry man sitting there with his borrowed quill. Love it. Okay, Casey Vin SoCal. Let's all send him our diaries so he knows what else to avoid. Sorry, Megs, but Susie has an orthodontist appointment tomorrow. Better reschedule our pap walk to Thursday. That's one thing, though. We haven't had any new pap walks, have we? We haven't had any car park walks of late. Obviously, she does follow social media. Have you seen the thing on X? I think Megan's mole put it up on YouTube too, where she did a search with Grok, and she was asking Grok, who are the most, top 5 most famous people? I think she said top 10 that follow or visit my actual, X page. And Meghan Markle came up as number 1. And then when she checked, it was, yes, it's the real Meghan Markle. I don't know how Grok could actually ascertain that it was a real Meghan Markle, but it was a laugh. And then, of course, I had to do it. Didn't expect any famous people at all, obviously, but I just did it for a laugh. And I said the top 5, and it was, according to Taz, was the top visitor to my thing, Nancy Sidley. And I think also third, was Andrew Loney. So I guess, I think Taz is famous. I think Nancy Sidley's famous. In my mind, they are anyway. But Andrew Loney is definitely a famous, author. So worldwide, a lot of people know who he is. So I sort of got some famous people, didn't I? I wanted it to be someone like, someone I really liked, like Kevin Costner, or as if, dream on, Shauna, dream on. Anyway, we've got to keep our dreams alive. Okay, Teresa Kemplay. Now, if only he knew how to write. Oh, ouch. You people can be brutal, can't you? Sherry A2, laugh out loud. Princess Anne's plume, she let him borrow it. Oh, I wish I might have to redo the AI photo, because that would be hilarious, wouldn't it? With a big red plume. So that was some of your funny comments. I'll go to some of your comments down the side now. Oh, that's interesting thought, Deborah. Harry seems to be using bullying and shame tactics to get the royal family on board. Shameful. Yes. I think they would be pretty immune to that by now, wouldn't they? Because the press tries to shame them constantly. A lot of headlines are always about this shame. But when you think about it, it's not the role of family to embrace people that attack the family. I think it's a family's job to protect the family, isn't it? The family unit. And when you've got betrayal and lies and deception, I don't think it is the family's role to embrace the peace offering before it's too late. And what's this before it's too late thing? Are they implying about King Charles III's health? I don't know. It's all a motive cobswallop, isn't it? The only thing I would say on a private level would be that if a heartfelt apology was privately delivered, which of course it won't be, but if a heartfelt apology was privately delivered, well, then it's up to them if they choose to accept it. And if they choose to accept it, I hope they will do it in private. I hope they will do it out of the public eye, way away at Balmoral, for example, with no press, and it should never be leaked. We really shouldn't know anything about their private life and their private business. As much as the media tries to pretend they do, we shouldn't really know about a personal reconciliation if it happens. If Harry had a genuine bone in his body, and that's debatable, but if he did have a genuine bone in his body, he would know by now that he can't tell Meghan anything. Because it's pretty bloody obvious, isn't it, that all the calls have come from inside the house. We've all been saying that for the last 5 years. And all of you have been saying it for the last 5 years. All those, that time when they wanted to go and live in Oxfordshire, and they had a country home, and they were quite excited about it because an old butler of Prince Charles was actually going to a butler for them when they went off to their country home in Oxfordshire. And it was near a Soho house out in the country, so Meg would have fitted right in. She'd feel right at home. Wonder if her furniture's still in the luggage. Anyway, so that was supposedly leaked so they couldn't move out to this country home. And me wonders, was that leaked from inside the house? And if so, what could have been the possible motivation? Maybe it was a little too close to a lot of people that she knew pre-Harry days, at Soho House because, of course, the one where she used to go to that, that reality TV star, I think her name was Millie. She and her, Meghan Markle and her, used to hang out and ride bikes and things out at the Soho House country one. And that would have been very, very close to their home in Oxfordshire. So I'm just thinking, I don't know, maybe she didn't want Harry propping up the bar when he was, had a night off out that way. You never know. Maybe he would hear tales out of turn. Also, the salacious rumours about Prince William and Catherine that were obviously untrue. I'm not going to repeat them or go into them, but you know the rumours I mean. They evidently originated at that Soho House too, over some glasses of wine, apparently. So, yeah, a little close to home. And then, of course, we have Dan Wooten receiving leaks. He's always claimed that he received the leaks from inside the Sussex camp when it came to them debunking to Canada, when they were planning their exit from the royal family, and also the fact that there was, South Africa being touted, that it was being touted that they would go off and live there for a few years with their very young family, with Prince Archie, and have some time off and relief and out of the public glare, away from the media. But of course, Meghan didn't want to be out of the public gaze and she didn't want to be without the media. So the South Africa thing also leaked. And Dan Wooten swears black and blue that it was from within the Sussex camp. So yes, Harry, if you have a genuine bone in your body, darling, then stop telling Meghan things you're doing, and then you'll see that things will remain private. I guarantee it. Absolutely guarantee it. Some people are saying they're having issues with ads. I have no idea. I haven't changed any settings at all. Maybe YouTube is being really aggressive, trying to earn money off me. I don't know. ANJ6787. Oh no, I've had it happen on other videos too a few times lately. They've actually brought in this new thing, evidently, where I got sent an email about it, where they can put ads around me so I don't get blocked off when it happens. And I actually ticked that so it wouldn't be as annoying, but obviously it's not working. So I will look into that. I try to minimize it. I have it on the lowest setting you can have it on. They have like this thing which they call like a money-making setting where you can really go to town and end up earning so much money that you could go off for a holiday in the Bahamas. Or they have the lower setting, which is best for viewer enjoyment and engagement. And I have it on that. I guarantee you I have it on that. So I'm doing my best from my end. I am. Okay, this is from Maggie P. I love Liam. So glad he's opening up again. I know, it's always nice to see someone give their heart, to be brave enough to give their heart, to have that courage. I just love love. I just love love, and I love everyone being happy. I think that's wonderful. Hello, Koala Blues. Koala Blues has got something lovely to say. Well, that's awesome. I wish them both the best of luck. Of course, talking about Pamela Anderson and Liam Nielsen. You're a romantic too, so that's wonderful. This is a very good information from Sir Squirrelot. Prince Harry at the Dorian TV Awards requested to be introduced. His Royal Highness was denied, sparking a meltdown. Harry insisted, but they stuck to protocol, introduced without, and Harry stormed out. Well, if true, and I'm not doubting you, Sir Squirrelot, but I have to say that for legal reasons, if true, then that is quite dramatic, isn't it? It's a dramatic illustration of the very good point I was making, that they should take away the HRHs. Oh, I am like a dog with a bone with that one. I just, I want it to happen. I really want it to happen. You'll notice in my video last night that I did a very calm and measured two-sided argument because I want it to happen and I don't want people to get their backs up. I want people to be able to discuss it in a reasonable manner, and maybe we could just get a minor change. Mind you, I don't think anyone at the palace knows I exist. I did hear once that Camilla once did watch a book thing once. And talking about book things. This Friday, I put up a thing that I was going to do back to book chat this Friday, usual time, which is 9:30 p.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time. Then I put up an update last night saying, I can't do it. I was going to do it today, but I can't do it. The reason was that my youngest actually ended up in hospital yesterday. And I was he's fine, but I was sitting with him and I was thinking, I don't think I'm going to be able to record or do my usual Wednesday live tomorrow. So I changed the story, but he's now back home and he's in bed, but he's back home. He's okay. He's recovering. So I can do that. And then guess what happened this morning? Had to rush my little puppy dog off to the vet. So the adrenaline is really up there, guys. If I'm speaking really fast, it's because adrenaline is coursing through my veins because of the last 24 hours. It's just been unbelievable. But the upshot of it is, short story is, yes, book chat will be back this Friday. I can do it this afternoon because I am at home and not at the hospital. Okay, so that's good news. And it's worth tuning in for because it's quite juicy. It's about a book that's just recently been released and I'm going to share really great snippets from it. Got one from Amy. Even if they got an apology and accepted it, they can't trust him. And look, that's just wisdom. I mean, I think I said on X, and it's like a cliche and not very bright of me, but if people show you who they are, believe them. And that is such a true cliche, isn't it? It really is. If people show you not to trust them and you just know that you're going to be burnt again, you don't even have to wait for the traditional, once bitten, twice shy. You don't even have to wait for the second time. If someone burns you, they're going to burn you again, unless they come with a great deal of self-awareness about how they burnt you the first time and apologize sincerely and explain to you how it's not going to happen again. That's different. But if they show no awareness, and which Harry has shown zero awareness, has he ever apologized? No, he hasn't, has he? He hasn't even intimated that any of it was ever any of it's his fault. So it doesn't show a lot of self-awareness, does it? He's very self-involved. Okay. Yes, Elizabeth 3G. I won't read that out, but I get you and I agree. Thank you, Koala Blues. Big hugs to me. Hope your son's speedy recovery and your puppy is okay. Yes, it was quite traumatic because, two things I just love the most in the world, heart out of chest moment. So, yes, he will be okay. What else have we got? Thank you, though, Koala Blues. Compliments, that's lovely, but I'm not going to read that out because that's, bit up myself if I do that, isn't it? Michael K. Lately, when I watch the live, there are periodic instances where the screen goes black and I have to close and reopen the app to continue. Well, I had a thing, Michael, too, where I was doing, but if I did a premiere occasionally, I had a thing where the sound would go. The audio would just disappear and I'd have to click out and click back in and then it would be fine. So I don't know what's going on. It's very strange. I hope YouTube's sorted out. It's sort of nothing that I can do from my end. I'm just going to see if you've got any other juicy royal comments before I go. From JC. I think an apology is fine. I'm sure they're sorry Harry's such a twit. I didn't expect that, JC. Oh, gosh. Oh, I could imagine just being at lunch with you girls and just killing myself laughing. Tears down the cheeks time, I'm sure, because a lot of you are so funny. Well, thank you for joining me. I really appreciate it. It was lovely just to pop in and say g'day and share a little bit of royal news. I hope you'll tune in Friday, 9:30 p.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time for a book chat. I'll get back to what I do best on Friday nights. So thank you so much, and I'll see you again very soon. Thanks, everyone. Bye-bye. Bye. Awkward moment, clicking button. Here we go.